Good evening. Welcome to the late night edition of Monday Motivation. We're a bit later this evening. We'll give people a few minutes just to let them join on. The feed is making it through to Facebook and YouTube. Give people just another minute. How's everyone this evening? If you haven't already, make sure you go over to the monday-motivation.ca website, sign up for. Okay, it looks like we're live now. Hello, Kim. Hello, Chantel. Glad you could join us. This is the late night edition of Monday Motivation. We were actually out visiting some friends. They're here from BC. We haven't seen them for a while, so that was my evening, and that sort of pushed out the broadcast. Just making sure everything's going good here. YouTube says upcoming. Interesting. Let's refresh that. Live, good. Okay, so we're live on my personal Facebook page, we're live on the Monday Motivation page, and we're live on YouTube. Make sure you like this video, make sure you share it, set a watch party, whatever, and we are trying to grow the channel. Anything you can do to help us grow it, please do. And also our Monday Motivation group, it's a closed group, Monday Motivation Inspire, Share, Connect. Join that group also, because that'll be a closed group where people can share ideas, inspiration, things that work for them. We're all in this together, and we would love to have you as part of that community. My topic this week, I was thinking about, what do I want to talk about? Oh, by the way, I do have an upcoming training on September 2nd. It's a free training. You do have to register, though. It's at the top of this, or I'll include in the comments. Just go and register for it. It's a free training, 2 hours. Help, I can't manage my time. So that's September 2nd at 7 p.m. in the evening. It's free, but it's got great value, especially if you want some tips, ideas to better manage your time. And if you missed last week's broadcast, go ahead and watch that. It's on our Facebook page. It's on the Monday Motivation website, monday-motivation.ca. So yeah, get on there, check it out. Lots of good feedback from that broadcast, and we're going to be going to even more detail on time management skills on September 2nd. So love to have you there. It'll be interactive. It's going to be done on Zoom, so it won't be one way like this session, but it'll be fully interactive. You'll get a lot out of it. And even myself, we can always get better at time management. Because when you think about it, you can always earn more money. There's a lot of different things you can do, but the one thing you can't do is earn more time. You can't get back time. If I lose some money, I can go earn more money. But if I waste my time, I will never get that time back. So time is so important. So I picked a fun topic to talk about tonight, or at least I find it interesting, to watch people, and it's with regards to multitasking. So my question to you, and if you want, throw it in the comments, do you think you can multitask? Yes or no? Kathy, my wife, she's right here. Can you multitask? I try hard. She says she tries hard. So it's interesting. So what is multitasking? It's simply when you're trying to do more than one task at the same time. Or as one definition refers to the ability to manage multiple responsibilities at once by focusing on one task and keeping track of others. Parents are good at multitasking, especially if you've got more than one kid. they all want your attention at the same time, and you're trying to do this one, you're trying to do that one, you're trying to do dishes, you're trying to get the laundry done, and you're trying to keep all these kids happy at the same time. So parents tend to do it out of necessity, and some parents are good at it. Some people not so much. And then it often involves rapidly switching from one task to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, so that you're, in effect, getting multiple things done at the same time. Some other examples of multitasking might be responding to emails while listening to music or a podcast, driving a vehicle while talking to someone. Okay, talking to a passenger, that's, as long as you stay focused on the driving. But take, for example, driving and texting, or driving and talking on your phone. That's now illegal in Ontario. That's distracted driving. So there's cases where it can be good, but there's also cases where multitasking can be a problem. Talking on the phone while doing email or social media. Sending emails during a meeting. Is that good or is that bad? You might think, okay, take for example, I worked in the corporate world for many years in project management and IT management, and the first tendency is to think, okay, I'm in a meeting, I can get some emails done on my phone while the meeting's going on. And while it may, on one hand, increase productivity, on the other hand, you're not getting the full benefit of the meeting and what the speaker is saying. And it's actually being rude to the speaker, because they're giving you their time, they're giving you information, but you are not giving them your full attention. So it can be good in one way, but can also be negative at the same time. You have to be very careful. Cooking dinner while helping children with homework. Reading a book while eating a meal. Again, if I'm on my own, I'll read or I'll check my Facebook, my social media, if I'm eating on my own. But if I'm eating with a family or with a group of people, that's just plain and simply rude. So multitasking can be good in some cases, but in other cases it's just rude. Working on one project while starting another. Or the one that I love is, and I used to work downtown Toronto, and I saw it many times over, you'd see people walking down the street and they'd be on their phone texting or talking to somebody, and they'd be so involved in the conversation. I've seen people walk into street signs. I've seen them walk into poles. I've seen them walk through red lights and people have to slam on the brakes. And I even saw somebody walk in front of a truck, and the truck had to blast their horn, and boy, did they wake up quickly. So you see people, and many people think they can multitask, but the question is, can you multitask effectively? And your answer might be different than mine. Everybody's different, but just something to think about. See if we have any, if you want, feel free to add any comments, your thoughts, your ideas. Lana, if you're listening, welcome. Okay, Kim says I can sometimes. Chantel, yes, depends on what. And actually, that's quite common. Some things you can multitask because they maybe don't need a lot of your attention, or the secondary task doesn't need a lot of your attention. But there's a time and a place for everything, and it may be appropriate, and often, though, sometimes it's not. My wife, for example, was training somebody at the office. Oh, she's worried now. I'm using her as an example. You should see her face right now. She was training somebody for a position at the office, and for the entire 2 hours that she was training him, he was texting on his phone. Extremely rude. She was giving up her time to teach him for a new job, and he did not respect her time by shutting off his phone. He thought he was multitasking, but in fact, he was being extremely rude by not giving his undivided full attention to what was being said. So be careful. If you're going to multitask, be careful. Or there's times I've sent an email and my mind wasn't focused on the email, and when I read it afterwards, I'm thinking, uh-oh, did I really say that? Or, I made stupid mistakes in grammar and spelling, or I sent it from the wrong email address, or I sent it to the wrong person. So If I'm doing email, I have to stay focused on that rather than trying to do this, do this, do this, do this while I'm doing the email. Same goes for phone calls. If I am talking to a client, I'm not being fair to the client and I'm not giving good customer service if I'm trying to do some other paperwork while I'm talking to that client. If I'm on the phone to somebody, I want to give them my 100% attention. So I get rid of those distractions. There are some studies that have been done on multitasking, and some of the research out there says it's shown that our brains are not nearly as good at handling multiple tasks as we think they are. In fact, some researchers suggest that multitasking can actually reduce productivity by as much as 40%. We think we're getting more done because we're doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this, and we're busy and our mind is busy as we jump, 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 jump. But every time we jump from one to the next, to the next, to the next, our brains are actually becoming more stressed as we change our focus between all of those multiple tasks. And the time that it takes to refocus on the task, we are actually losing productivity. In the office, if I had something important I was working on, I would actually shut off my email or turn off the notifications. I would put my phone on silent because for me, if I'm working on something that requires my concentration, every time there was an interruption, it now took me 2-3 minutes to get back to where I was in producing that document or that plan that I was working on. So those interruptions had a huge impact on my productivity if I didn't manage those interruptions. But yeah, that's the research. Up to 40% decreased productivity when we attempt to multitask. If it's something simple like listening to music in the background, sure. But if it's something that requires your focus and attention, you are far better off to focus on one thing at a time. Forbes magazine, what they had to say, and this is again based on research, it might seem like you are accomplishing multiple things at the same time, but what you are really doing is quickly shifting your attention and focus from one thing to the next. Switching from one task to another makes it difficult to tune out distractions and can cause mental blocks that slow you down. Reading a bit more here, it's been scientifically demonstrated that the brain cannot effectively or efficiently switch between tasks, so you lose time. It takes 4 times longer to recognize new things, so you're not saving time, but multitasking actually costs you time. And then there's the accuracy, the mistakes. So now you have to fix things, you're again losing more time. You send out the wrong email. Studies have shown that we have a much lower retention rate when we learn of what we learn when multitasking. If you're a student or if you're in a seminar, if your mind is focused on something, a second task, a secondary task, you're not retaining as much as what you could if you focused on what the presenter was saying or doing. It affects our memory. Because we're not focused, we don't remember or retain as much. So often memory problems relate to multitasking. And then, of course, it talks about the rudeness factor, which we talked about when you're not giving somebody your full attention when they deserve it. If they're giving you their time, they deserve your full attention. One of the funniest incidents I remember to do with multitasking, this involves a family member. I'm not going to say which one, but I get home late one evening, and here this person is in the refrigerator, going through the refrigerator with a toothbrush hanging out their mouth. And I'm thinking, okay, multitasking does have one benefit. It's very entertaining when you see somebody sorting through food in the fridge with a toothbrush hanging out their mouth. Now, how that's more effective than finishing brushing your teeth and then going and sorting out what needs to be sorted out in the fridge, I don't know how that's more effective, but it did have great entertainment value to see that. So it can be very entertaining for other people, or watching them walk into stop signs and out onto the street. So it does have great entertainment value for others when you try. So what some of the effects? Well, negative effect on the quality of work, productivity does not increase, a lack of focus, an inability to concentrate, and it's rude to others, your boss, your teacher, somebody who's a speaker, or your client. So there's lots of reasons not to multitask. Now, if you want to listen to music while you work, if it's not distracting you, or if you have secondary tasks, sure. But when you have something that needs your attention, give it your attention. Multitasking, you might think you're accomplishing more because your brain's busier, but the fact is you're not. Stay focused on what it is that you are doing. And some suggestions: remove distractions. Right now, my phone is on silent. If a phone call comes in or an email comes through, I'm not going to say, oh, hold on, and then go answer my email. That's rude to you. You're giving me your time right now, and I appreciate that. For me to be distracted and doing other things is rude. So turn off those distractions. Or if I'm working on an important document, so I'll take an hour to go through my email in the morning, and then unless I'm expecting something urgent, I won't go back onto my email till the afternoon. Same with social media. I'll check it in the morning, and I might check it on my breaks, but I try not to let it be a distraction to the things that I have to accomplish through the day. Force yourself to stay focused on one task until that task is complete or until you've gone as far as you can go. So if I'm working on a plan or a document, I will stay focused on that. I'll say, okay, this morning I'm going to work on this document, and I will stay focused on that document until I finish it or until I get as far as I can go on it. Maybe I need to get more information, or maybe it needs to be reviewed by somebody else. So I might not finish the whole thing, but I will go as far as I can go and with what I have. Then I will also put it into my calendar that this needs to be finished. So once I do get a response back, or once I do get that additional information, I can finish it. But carry things through as far as you can. You're painting the house. Try and get it done. Go as far as you can today. And if you don't get it finished, schedule time to finish it later. But remove those distractions. Stay focused. And then the other things like, or I call them important distractions, email, returning phone calls, dealing with customers. Those important distractions, helping the kids with their homework, schedule time for those. So you get your work done, but schedule time for those other things that are necessary. And social media, maybe that fits in there somewhere, but it should be lower down your list. But schedule time for those things that need to be done and do them in their scheduled time rather than trying to cram them into your... So a few ideas. If you have some ideas on multitasking, good or bad, pros or cons, or ways that you manage multitasking, because it can be good in certain cases. But use it sparingly, use it with intent. Don't use it as some way to get distracted from what you need to do. So that's my thoughts on multitasking. And love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments. My training on September 2nd, it's free. Please do register. The link is up at the top of the video. I'll put it in the comments here too. Just give me a second. I'll put it in the comments here. Love to have you join us. Pulling up the link here. Sorry, give me a moment. So here's the link where you can register. It'll be fully interactive. It will be by Zoom. And if you can join us, that would be great. Okay. Oh, okay. I have some comments here in the other one. Lana, laugh out loud. As a server, I have several tasks to do while giving service to my guests. So yeah, Lana works in a restaurant. And actually, we were there for our Christmas party. She does an amazing job. And I can imagine in her case, multitasking is critical because you have to manage multiple tables at the same time. You have to clean tables. You have to bring orders out. And now with all this COVID, you've got to do all the cleaning and you've got to wear the mask and all these extra steps. So yeah, that's huge. And I'm sure you find it stressful. And everybody has a point. If you try to do too much of that multitasking, that order gets forgotten, or that one goes to the wrong table. So you have steps to manage it. And you probably have, processes in place. You might deliver 1 or 2 orders at the same time. You're not trying to jump, you're being pulled all over the way, but you probably have developed ways to try and manage that so that you finish one task before you go to the next. And, the busier you get multitasking, you probably find things slip through the cracks. So yeah, restaurant servers, give them a good tip because they are probably the masters at multitasking, far better than most of us could do. Thanks, Lana. Great for sharing that. Maybe you should start a school of multitasking and teach people how to do it effectively, because when I saw you working, you actually did it extremely well in your job there. So good point. And there are places where it's needed and valuable. So, okay, yeah, so Lana says here, we do have processes to follow and develop ways to manage our time. So it's not just random shoot here, there, bang, bang, but you have processes in place to help manage it so that things don't slip through the cracks. So yeah, it's in a managed fashion, not just a random all over the place type fashion. So that's an example where multitasking is good. Good points, thank you. And the comments, of course, will be open long after this webcast finishes. Make sure you register for the September 2nd training. Love to see you there. There'll be lots of great information. And thank you for joining us. I appreciate you giving me your time. There is the feedback form on monday-motivation.ca. Any private feedback you want to share with us, put it in there. Our group, make sure you like our page. Make sure you share this video. And we'll see you next week. Love you guys. We'll see you next week on Monday Motivation. Have a great week.